In this next video, we're just going to look real quick at how you can alter the schema of a table, an existing table. In our last video, we made this table for units of measure, and I threw some values in there. One of the things that you can do in SQL Server, if you have your table showing, you can click the plus sign. Just open this up a little bit more, and then you can go ahead and click columns, and it'll show you all your columns and the names and all the stuff about it. But another thing that you can do is also right-click the table. And then you can say, instead of edit all rows, you want to go to design. In this version of SQL Server Management Studio, it says design. It's different wording in different versions. But basically, here's my table. Here's sort of like the schema of it. What I want to do is I want to add a field, and we'll say that we need a field for comments. So I'm going to add a comments field, and I'm just going to make it a varchar. And I'm going to make it 2000, and I'm going to hit save. Now notice what happens when I come back here and I refresh. I don't see it, do I? That doesn't mean that it didn't get updated, because if I come over to columns and if I hit this little refresh icon, you can see that it's there. But the reason why we don't see it here is simply because the SQL statement just didn't have it to begin with. Let me close out of here. Go back to units, I'm going to right click and I'm going to say edit all rows. See, so now the comment field is there. And if you notice, it put it after modified, it put it at the end of the table. Now let's go back and let's just change one thing. Let's go to design. Let's get rid of this field. We just decided, we didn't want it, it's no good, we hate it. Well, now what happens when we refresh this view? Because now we're looking at a field that isn't there anymore. Well, you see, notice now SQL Server just got rid of it for us. So it didn't necessarily display it on the fly, but it certainly got rid of it for us. One other thing that you might want to do, though, just because, you may want to put that field in between a couple of others. We just arbitrarily put it at the end, but let's say I wanted to put it after the U description field. How would I do that? Well, in that case, all I would do is right-click and go to Design. But in this case, instead of coming down here, I would go to where it says U visible and then right click and then say insert column. That's all you got to do. Now when I do this, I put my comment field. We'll say it's a varchar. I like to do 2000. I like that number for some reason. Then I hit save and then I close out of there. Now when we go to refresh again, if you notice, it's not there. But if we go out and then right click and then say edit all rows, bam, here's our comment field right in between description and visible where we wanted to put it. And of course it's null because we haven't added any data to it yet. The one thing that you need to realize when you're adding these fields is this. If there's already data in the table and you're adding a field, if I was going to create this and say it's not allowed to be null, it wouldn't let me do that. Units table unable to modify. Table cannot insert the value null into this comment, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, okay. Thanks, SQL Server. You're excused. The reason for that is, since there's already records, it doesn't like the fact that they're null when you're saying that it can't be. If there were no records in this table, or if we deleted these here, then it would let us do that no problem.